then you see the contrast in chapter 7, and Taylor already mentioned this, the city of Ai, where Achan has taken some of the gold and silver, some of the precious things from Jericho, and instead of putting them into the treasury of the Lord, which they were commanded to do, that would be the exact obedience thing, he kept them selfishly for himself and his family and hid them under his own possessions in his tent.
Isn't there a phrase about treasures becoming slippery?
Yes. So when we come to Ai, they're saying, oh, you know what? This city isn't nearly as strong as Jericho. We don't need to send the whole army, and we're not going to even consult with the Lord. We got this. We're good. So they send in 3,000 men to just take that city, and we end up losing 36 men in verse 5. And they come running back into camp saying, what happened? We should have easily been able to take over that city, and it didn't work. And then the Lord tells them, verse 11, Israel hath sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant which I commanded them. For they have even taken of the accursed thing, and have also stolen and dissembled also, and they have put it even among their own stuff.
This idea of like, you don't want to contaminate yourself with the things of this land. We're going to clean it out so we have a fresh start in the promised land.
Isn't that interesting, by the way, the English word that comes to us in our King James Version of the Bible here at the close of 11? You've taken all of those precious things. Somebody has taken them and put them even among their own stuff. I like that word. It doesn't seem usually like a biblical or a scriptural word, stuff, but doesn't it fit nicely right there? They put it among their stuff. That's all it is. That's all we've got is just a bunch of stuff. The real question is, what's inside of our heart? What's inside of our soul? Who we're becoming? It's not about accruing stuff that this world has to offer. I just had to point out that little word. Look at verse 13. Up, sanctify the people, and say, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow. And then the Lord gives him some instructions of how to find what has gone wrong. And in this process, they identify Achan, in verse 18, and he confesses everything, and they take care of that struggle. And then you turn over to chapter 8, and now we've still got this city of Ai to deal with. And so what does Joshua do? He sets up an ambush. So at night, he sends many of his soldiers behind the city where they're going to be able to sneak in and be unseen. And then he's going to come down into the valley near Ai, and the king is going to see them assembling and think, hey, we've beat these guys once, let's go get them again. So he comes out and they start running away, and he empties the city and they all chase them, and then this group comes in and takes the city. Does that sound at all familiar? Have you seen that story in, say, the war chapters of the Book of Mormon? Not just with Captain Moroni, but also with Helaman and the stripling warriors down in the south part of that conflict. These war captains in the Book of Mormon, I think they probably have Joshua as one of their heroes. They probably know some of these stories, and they're probably thinking, how can we apply the scriptures, liken them to our own life in a way that would be beneficial? And I think that's what we're seeing in the Book of Mormon repeatedly, is them applying things like that, and like phrases of exact obedience that you're going to get with the stripling warriors. I think these themes are intertextual between the Old Testament and the Book of Mormon.